Can't get over that.
That intro's good.
The intro.
I like that music.
Welcome back to Something's Wrong Here, a Broken Reel Media podcast. If you are listening for the first time, follow us, like us, hit subscribe, do all those fun things that help out the algorithm.
That would be very nice of you.
Set it up to download the episodes. That really helps.
Yep.
And follow us on all our socials. We are on all the major socials right now except for Thread. Maybe
What's
one day.
Thread?
Thread
Good
is
talk.
I'm old.
Who are we?
I'm old. I have to ask those questions.
Yeah. Brian does not know the modern. I am Randy, and I am here with my two co-hosts today.
I've got Ken-Zee here.
And I'm Brian.
And we are doing a studio first.
Yep.
We are doing what we planned on doing all along. We are a podcast about perspectives, and we are bringing somebody in as a guest.
Yep.
And we are bringing him in for his perspective. So with that being said, Ken-Zee, introduce him, take it away.
All right.
Oh, boy.
I first met this individual, and to clarify something and make it fun, I actually asked, I said, what happened? Like, he looks like he walked, like he got ran over by a steamroller. and they said, man, if only that was what happened. And I had no idea. Like, I was just like, clearly something happened, like, clearly. Yeah. And then I heard just the beginning of a snippet of his story, and I'll tell you that my perspective changed real quick, and I knew he was he was someone I wanted to talk to a lot.
Yeah.
So, who are you, bud?
Hey, my name's Joe. I am a construction worker, and I ran into Ken-Zee out in the field, so, I haven't known him very long, but he asked me to be a part of this podcast, and I'm honored, so thank you for that, Ken-Zee.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming, man.
Yeah.
So
It's pretty awesome.
I asked you here today because I, in a relatable way, I found myself in a very dark place, and I've been in some near-death instances and such.
Yeah.
And truth be told, this is a podcast about perspectives, and I kind of see the world going from zeros to ones.
Yeah.
So every day, I try to start out at zero with a gotta suck to get better mentality.
Yeah.
And
Embrace the suck.
I always want to think of in time in my entire life, I hope that the zero came to the one, Mm-hmm. So you're here today. You know why you're here today. Let's recap what you were telling us about right before we started recording. So can you walk us through just most recently?
Sure.
What occurred?
So, I had a surgery done to remove some hardware from my skull and my face, and I had them. It was becoming uncomfortable for me, because hats or hard hats at work would rub up against my forehead and just would kind of be painful. And you could see under my orbital floor of my left eye that there was mesh sticking out, and I had them remove all that titanium and the mesh and the screws and the plates, and I just got done recovering from that, and just got back to work. So that's pretty much what happened. I got a gnarly scar here on my head. It's been opened up twice, so it looks pretty wild.
All right, so let's catch up. Why did these surgeries take place?
Yeah, so, in 2022, I was out camping, had an anniversary with my girlfriend, and I thought it'd be, fun to get out, a ways away and, do some camping. And we were on our way back home, night of, things just weren't working out there. The current was going too fast, and there was a bunch of party people out there, so I was just like, let's go home and just hang out. Anyways, last thing I remember that night on our anniversary was being pinned inside of a little Ford Focus, and I was smashed. Yeah, so I vaguely remember that. They had to use the jaws of life to get me out. I remember the sound of that. Never will forget that sound. And then I was in the hospital. That was pretty much what happened there, and half of my body was smashed. My skull was fractured. Some of my arms were broken. Bones shattered.
Some of your arms.
some of my arms.
I have 7
I
arms.
felt like they were broken.
Several of them were broken.
Yeah.
So
Interesting.
So you. That's unrelatable to just about everyone. I would say so.
Yeah.
You woke up from that, and I mean, you woke up. So that's starting at 0.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's pretty good though. I'm glad you woke up.
Yeah,
That's a good thing.
walk us through how you are from 0 to where you are, because I describe you as a 1 every day.
Well, I've just had to practice that, getting to that position, and sometimes it doesn't feel like I'm at the 1. You know what I mean?
I think everyone gets some grace.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We don't talk perfection here. Perfection isn't attainable.
Right. That's not a real thing. That's not even a real word.
We aim towards the good, right? That's the idea.
Yeah.
Aim towards the good.
Totally. But yeah, no, it's been a difficult journey, mentally and physically, and
I would assume emotionally as well.
yeah, absolutely, man. I've had to practice a lot of, I don't know, mindfulness and I've had to build integrity. I've had to rebuild everything.
Yeah.
Pretty much. You know what I mean? And it's been difficult, but also it's been very rewarding. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I think it's where I am today. I think that I'd like to think that, you know what I mean? I'm moving up still.
Well, it's a literal, figurative, this contrast
Like
between
rebirth
like the
almost.
Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely a rebirth.
It sounds so like weird or cliche or something to
No,
say, but like at the
that's
same
a
time,
perfect
I
word
feel like it's
to
quite-
use.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
man.
I think that's how we, as human beings, that's what we identify with.
Yeah, and
That's
totally.
that's the hero's journey, dude. It's like you're broken down to
personal
nothing.
thing.
You're
Yeah.
broken down to nothing, and you find a way, and you start to build, and you slay a dragon,
Yeah.
and you come back from slaying the dragon.
Yeah.
And this
Yes.
it's all figurative, right? But I
Yes.
mean, this is everybody's journey.
Yes.
The dragon is this just the metaphor that everybody's dragon's different.
Yeah.
You know?
I agree with you. That's a good way to-
I'm
that's a good
serious,
way to
man.
see it.
Comical to laugh there, but
Human beings, like we live in that container of stories.
Yeah.
We want to be able to compare ourselves and our experiences to something that you've seen before, and you thought that was fucking brave and valiant, man.
Yeah.
I'm really.
That's all we really have, sometimes,
That's the meaning. Yeah. Sorry. Keep going, man.
So
I
I- no,
that's
enjoy
a
hearing
very
it.
good point, man.
Yeah.
I think what I just heard in a weird way to take away is like an inspiring way of like the rebirth or the new you.
Yeah.
It's a new you in real life. It's a new you, like sitting at the table
Figuratively
here,
and literally
rather
both.
than
It's a really good way to
new
put it.
Joe who went Facebook hunting. You know, rather a new Joe that knows how to tweet and is cool on the digital world that doesn't exist
I
here.
totally understand what you're saying.
Because I mean, you could have sat back and just said, "Fuck it, I got dealt a shit hand. I'm done." You know.
Speaking of that, like where do you draw your motivation to keep going forward? You said you're going forward. How did you get that motivation?
That's a really
to
great question. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I get a lot of motivation from the people that I hang out with. Not only them, but I get big motivation from my partner that I lost. And yeah, I mean, just people like we surround ourselves with, you know what I mean? Like people like who have stories to tell and have lessons that they've had to learn. And
Yep.
I don't know. That's a really great question. I've never been asked that question. Good question.
There's no wrong answers, man.
No,
There
way
is
to go,
answers. This
Randy.
is-
You ruined him.
Jesus, dude.
Yeah, but no, man. I don't know. I just want to do right by everybody and, be kind and take care of the world and, I don't know, maybe have lessons to give.
We could use more. We could use more of that. I
So,
think we
so,
really
so,
could.
so you think of it more as like a second chance to do this, or were you doing that all along and it's just I get to prolong my journey and keep that going?
Man, I take it a day at a time, and sometimes I don't really think that way, but yeah.
I think a lot of us could learn a lot from going one day at a time instead
Yeah.
of trying to get to the big picture at the end. If we took it one day at a
Yeah.
time.
Journey.
I think there's a level that I'd like to hear your take on
Sure.
pre and post what matters. What matters? Like, what paradigm shift occurred? Whoop, there's a hit marker.
Clip that one.
What paradigm shift occurred?
You dummy.
Because it occurred instantaneously, so to speak. It occurred at a near perfect collision, in a way, in your life that you had no control, no idea it was happening, and it happened. And now this new you obviously has a lot of derivative of the old you, because everyone that I've talked to loved you way longer than this occurred.
Yeah, well...
But they've also said that you somehow have only come back better.
Yeah, well, that's...
Your friends are saying this. Your friends are saying this.
I'm honored to hear that, honestly. Like, I don't expect... You know what I mean? I'm glad that people can get that from me. You know what I mean? I just want to do right by everybody, and I want to take care of people, and also... take care of myself, of course, you know what I mean? But yeah, before, I would say the only thing, or if there's a few things that I would say that has shifted is the thought of how easily we take life for granted. And we don't really think about it. I think life is beautiful and life is precious, you know what I mean? And I think that we do things that sometimes we don't really think about, that can affect our lives. I don't know.
I get what you mean, man.
I could probably choose better words, but for that.
No.
But
we all can.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
don't let him.
It's astounding to me, guys, how quickly things can be taken away from us, from anybody, and it happens all the time. I mean, it's a snap of the fingers, you know what I mean?
And it's absolute change, man, right then. Like, just everything's different.
I was driving down the road the other day, and I saw a billboard, and it was a reward for who killed me. Yeah. And I thought about it. I was like, that could be me in that instant. Yeah. And I don't even get the choice.
Or you could be the dad.
Just like you could be the dad. You didn't get that
billboard,
choice
dude.
to be thrown into that that situation, and it happened like that. Like there's no prepping for it. There's no deciding it.
I mean, it was strange leading up to that moment. I remember things being just very, very strange. Like talking about it and thinking about it nowadays, it's like, okay, well, like maybe we should have stayed, and you know what I mean, and just things were off, and it was our 1 year anniversary, and so I go through grief just like everybody else, you know, and sometimes guilt, you'll get that, but I think to touch on what Randy was saying, like putting yourself in other people's shoes, or putting yourself in just different situations. I think that's important to have that mindfulness always.
Do you find a significance of yourself finding that with others, the patience with others, by just listening?
I think I understand what you're saying, but I'm more of a listener. Definitely, yeah.
Yeah.
And patience isn't easy to, I don't know if it's to learn, or patience is hard to understand and hard to understand.
Right. Do you have more of it now, though?
Absolutely. And in some aspects, yes. And some, no.
Sure.
Dude, I'll be honest, like, sometimes I can't take certain people's shit. I mean, I'm not rude or anything, but I'll just excuse myself and be like, okay. It's just, or don't pick up the phone. Like,
sure, sure, man.
There's things that I've lost and things that I've learned and had to relearn.
I wouldn't say loss. I mean, would you define it more as prioritizing?
Oh, that's a good
reshift.
That's a good perspective.
Like you took a full shift and just reprioritized what's important.
That is a huge.
Well, life is still life, but you learn where you can put emphasis there. Maybe you weren't before.
Yeah.
And maybe you can lose some emphasis on something that doesn't fucking mean shit in the long run.
So, fellas, I've found myself asking in any situation where I start to snap to anger. I found myself stopping and asking myself, could I have gotten kicked in the dick? Because if the answer is yes, it could have gotten worse.
That's the place to get kicked,
Dude.
Right? But I want to ask that question.
Hold on. This is why...
It's humorous, but hang on. Give it to me here. You have a paradigm shift of perspective now, because nothing can ever be that again, right? You've seen what could theoretically be what you would ever picture as the worst.
Yeah, but also you can't always. You have to think like that. You may never ever be back where you were before.
Right.
You know.
What's the new normal?
So start.
Right?
So
What does the norm
get to
become?
living.
Yeah.
Get to living.
Yeah,
Busy
that's also
living,
very
get busy
important.
dying, man.
Yeah, that's also very important. The little things, man. Like, just I don't know, feeling rewarded. You know, from mindfulness. You know what I mean? I think that's creating peace for yourself that way. Like, that makes me feel good.
Yeah.
I don't know if that makes sense to you. But
Yeah.
Well, I know what you mean when you say mindfulness. Sam Harris is a big mindfulness guy, and I like that. The idea of being present, the idea of
well, it kind of brings me to some of the things that I've heard Ken-Zee say a million times. You know, you can be pissed off sitting in traffic.
Yeah.
You've got, you know, you need to be here. You need to be doing this. You can be pissed off about a lot of things, but there's always somebody who's having a worse day than you are.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think that's true.
My
Yeah.
coworkers fuck with me because they always ask me, like I always say, "Yeah, well, how's it going? How's it going this morning, man?" I'm like, "It's no day in paradise."
Well, imagine being in rush hour. I want to be pissed off for a second here, and I want
why
to
are you
make
there?
people
Why are you
think
stopped?
for one fucking second.
Yeah.
What if it was your wreck that people are sitting there on
they
their
didn't
way
know.
to work, having to text their
These
boss?
dickheads up here in traffic.
There's a fucking some, you know. It's like,
Yeah, that's a good.
I want to drag people out and leave them in the street limping along, letting them crawl through traffic.
Yeah.
Because
It's a good perspective, no,
the
honestly.
true aspect of it is think for one goddamn second. What if it was Joe?
Slow
what if it
down.
is someone like this who
Yeah.
you hear that story, and if you don't reel back and have a moment of self-reflection, I don't think we need you here.
Yeah.
Ken-Zee,
Okay.
Ken-Zee, though, only you
perfect.
could derive like real meaning from a situation by thinking about whether or not you're going to get kicked in the dick for it. That's
Well, like, no, you gotta
your
realize,
motivation
that's
system's interesting.
Traffic
to me.
jam, kicked in the dick.
Okay, we all inherited a temper, right?
I could
Yes.
say,
Whether it's a good
yeah.
or a bad one.
I have a temper.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie.
And I'll tell you this.
Same, dude.
I will say that I have a short fuse from my father, but 99% of the time, it's for something right rather than being angry at somebody or something stupid or something that doesn't matter. And for me, what pisses me off is every day driving to work.
Yeah.
How old's your dad?
My dad?
Yeah.
My dad is a young. He's in his
you're
70s.
like-
We're not getting into specifics.
You're like 17,
fine.
so I'm just assuming that your dad's probably younger.
Me papa is old and wise. But like, you know, think for one goddamn second. It's like but to bring him into it, my dad, I asked him, could we ever adopt a South American like version of driving where the horn is used for communication rather than
it's really just
anger.
like awareness.
rather than an
Keep your
immediate
head
go
up.
I
fuck
think the
yourself.
second you cross the
Man for
border
anger.
to the south, they use that horn nonstop.
It's a tool. It's not actually.
But I do
Use it,
feel
use it here, you can get shot.
It is a tool, but at the same time, I feel like it's an aggressive tool. Like get the hell out of my way. I'm coming through.
But that's interesting though. Why do you think people are like that? Because you're
aggressive.
You're
driving.
in a fucking projectile.
Yeah. No,
Like you have some heft. Like I'm gonna run this thing into something, and my car's gonna get fucked up, but I'm gonna fuck you up too.
Yeah.
That's
and,
like
and that's the thing. Everybody's so timid to use it, and it's almost like a form of let's fight. I'm hitting my
buddy.
horn. Let's fight. It's time to fight.
I love hitting the horn, man.
Same.
Love messing with people.
It's like me good.
What's your biggest takeaway? Your biggest overall takeaway in life? Is it to just slow down, or is it to be patient, or what's your biggest takeaway from everything that you've jumped with? And
Hey, can I try to like synthesize it into the answer?
please.
I think what would be more interesting, and this may be a tough question.
Oh, I need tough questions. I really do. That's what gets me thinking.
I like to think that I know where you're going with this, which was you were just a normal guy before. Okay, you're just living your life. You got your lady with you, your
regular
partner
job,
with you, regular job, and. I don't want to. The reason I'm asking is I don't want to make this like a narrative. I don't want to make this like a story archetype. Like it's the same person with the same story. So my thing is, I'm really like, it's so hard to get the first part. Like what motivated you before, which could have been just life, like living the life.
Yeah.
And I think I'm more interested in the delta. Like what was the shift?
Yeah.
I know when I'm pretty sure I know when. and I'm sure that the acceleration of it is different times, because it's like anything where something gets crushed around you, there's acceptance, there's moving towards solutions, there's moving on and living, right?
Moving forward, yes.
So I mean, did you have an ethos before, and did the ethos change afterwards?
Well, I will tell you, I had a heel in my ass when I met my partner, and but before that, you know what I mean, I was pretty much the same, as before when I met her, but she just really sparked something just beautiful and inside of me, and I don't know, but yeah, no, I've always been pretty considerate, and I would say I'd always been kind and self-aware. My childhood wasn't so great, so honestly, I've had to really learn all these things on my own, so. Can you repeat your question again? Sorry.
Well, it's really we've kind of tip danced around the idea of because everybody has kind of a thrust in their life, like what motivates you at any given point.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm interested because years ago, you're in your late 20s.
Yep.
Your motivation is hanging out with your partner, making money. Yes. Learning, like doing your trade, and kind of making your
living
bones,
life.
right? You're making your bones. You're just doing your thing. You're living. You're adulting, which fucking sucks. Okay,
paying bills,
sucks.
but you're trying to get out and live life.
And if you're doing it the right way, which it sounds like you're doing it the right way anyway, you kind of you're trying to do good, right? You're trying to go towards the good. So it's like, I just want to know: is there any ethical kind of change? What fundamentally about you and who you are and what the thrust of your life was?
What drives you now?
What drives you now?
Great questions.
That's not a car pun either. God damn it.
I want to leave something behind.
Okay.
A legacy.
Yeah.
I want to leave something behind that people can benefit from.
Yep.
I want to leave something behind that people won't forget, or maybe something people can take away from my existence being here.
Yeah.
Okay. I think that's super important.
You're leaving a footprint, right? Because we're all going to leave. We're all leaving.
Yeah, that's a
positive or negative.
Yes.
Something's going to be left.
We're all leaving.
Yes.
Though, come on, let's figure out how to put my essence into a thumb drive and put it in a freezer somewhere. That'd be cool. Hoping I'm older, so I may be sweating that out a little harder than you guys are. I'm hoping, come on, Elon.
Let's go AI.
Come on, Elon, dude. No, I get what that's. I mean, exactly. Like, I got in a car accident when I was a kid, and it fucked shit up, and it was weird.
Yeah.
It was weird.
Yeah,
but,
you're not the same.
But it gives me a perspective to see, like, this makes me feel like the thing that changed my life drastically, and it did, man. Yeah. But it's, I like to quote my buddy. He's one of my disc golf buddies back in the day. He's a very, very down to earth cat. Okay. Yeah. And if he ever sees people pissed off, and it's great on the disc golf course, because it's like the first practical application of this idea.
Being able to diffuse on a golf course.
It's right on the disc golf course. Just like anything competitive, you want to do well. When you don't do well, some people don't react very well, right? You throw a bad shot.
I've seen it on the real golf course.
Throw your club
in the tree,
kick your bag. And my buddy's thing was it was two bullet points. All right.
Yeah. Don't
sweat the small stuff.
Yep.
That's a good one.
Everything is small stuff.
Yeah.
All right, so I've got a question for you.
Right?
That's good. Those are good.
That's good advice.
Oh boy.
When you came to and you were back into functioning mode, so to speak.
That brain got turned back on.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
It's like, thanks, dudes.
I can use that. Not your brain was never turned off. It was that they let your eyeballs open up again.
Yeah.
Yep.
They were like, we're gonna let him see something.
Like, thanks,
again.
dudes.
Yeah.
Thanks, dudes.
Yeah.
Did you find out that you had people in your life, whether you knew it beforehand or not, that were all of a sudden cemented, concreted, never able to be gone because of any role, whatever they did?
Yes. Yeah, and honestly, I think I understand what you're saying is, like, are you saying that we became closer?
No, just even, not even that the relationship on an everyday changed.
Oh, yes.
Not even on a relationship level every day changed.
Yeah.
But more so, do you find some of these people that you know what they would do for you now?
Yeah,
you realize who
now.
they are in your
Yes.
life, or
That's a good question.
Or you found
Ken-Zee.
out something that they did for you that you.
That's a good question. I'll be honest. You know, I always am pretty honest. But you know,
so
yeah.
quit lying to us.
Yeah, no,
Damn it,
I
dude.
honestly like didn't expect anybody. Like, I didn't have an expectation that there was gonna be people there for me.
Well, you couldn't plan it.
No, like
it's hard to plan that
I
out.
didn't have. You know what I mean? I didn't. If they did or they didn't, like it was what it was. Is what it is. But yeah, no. I definitely found out that people do indeed care about me, and respect me.
Okay.
And I think that's great. Yeah, and that's not easy to come by.
See, to me, that's like what I feel like all of us take for granted all the time.
Absolutely, yeah.
Because you don't think of who, because obviously we're all shuffling the mortal coil off one day at a time. But seriously, we never think about if something is like literally stop today, and who's the support cast.
Yeah.
And you find you find it quick, man.
I mean,
I'm
I
gonna
was
take that
surprised.
I'm going to take that to a different level, though,
Okay.
because you
Oh,
said
boy.
you don't know and everything, but I think you take it for granted. But at the same time, I think there's a lot of people out there who doesn't realize how many people are in their corner
Yeah.
and feel lost.
Oh yeah.
Like there's nobody there for them. But if you really reached out, there may be a lot more people there for you than you really expected. Like,
Yeah.
and that's the sad reality is a lot of people give up thinking there's nobody there. But
Yeah.
there's actually people in your corner.
Yes.
And
is true.
unfortunately, it took what happened to him to realize. But there's some people in our corner that we don't even know is there sometimes.
Oh, that's absolutely right.
yeah.
Yeah, and I can agree with that. Beforehand, I didn't know who was in my corner.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you. I mean, I had an idea.
Yeah. I hope this. Yeah.
I
You
was
knew your
surprised.
hype man at the fight. You had like the guy carrying the radio too, but like
Yeah.
the guy cleaning
Yeah.
you up, you're like, oh,
Carrying the radio on his
I
shoulder.
was
Radio on the shoulder,
surprised.
spinning the towel in the
You
air.
had a
I
small
was
team.
very
Hype man.
surprised.
But at the same time, was there some people you thought were in your corner that weren't? Or did you find out that, you found out like all along I knew these people were in my corner and now I know.
You know, a little bit of both, honestly.
That's-
You know,
I could see that.
I'm
Yeah.
not very
You have to balance
close with my folks, and I'm gonna tell you what, they were there by my side every day.
Yep.
And I was in the hospital for about 4 months, and every single day I'd wake up, they'd be right there. So, or I'd get a call, you know what I mean? And I was shocked about that.
You were
know?
shocked about that?
I was shocked. Yeah.
Did it change your relationship that you have with them now?
Yes, it did.
Yeah, I don't doubt that. I believe that.
Yeah,
very much.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it changed in my mind, and we were in touch more than we ever were prior, you know what I mean? So yeah, and old friends, as well, like people that I know have always been there, they were there. People I didn't know sometimes were there, just I had a big support group, and yeah, I never had any idea. That's probably due to my stubbornness, but yeah, I was shocked and surprised and happy, but also sad at the same time. Yeah.
Both things can be true at the same time.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That's
Yeah.
life, man. That's
Yeah.
the balance we talk about, right?
Absolutely, but in my head, while I'm sitting there for however long it was, I could have either given up at that moment, or I could have told myself that I could improve myself and learn something from this. And yeah, I told myself that, tried to tell myself that,
The curve away from like cynicism or nihilism.
yes. I mean, you're just sitting there.
Aiming in the fucking opposite direction of those things is the cure.
I mean,
yeah.
I couldn't walk. I couldn't.
You can be pissed off at the world, but I mean that really doesn't help. That doesn't help you
Yeah.
mentally, I think.
Let's walk through that for a second. You woke up in a hospital one day.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, draw me Joe's timeline from waking up in the hospital to today in a concise go.
Yeah, I can try to do that. Well, I relive it, in my mind quite often because it's been difficult. There's milestones, definitely.
Yep.
But it's been great. So woke up, had over 100 stitches in my legs, both of them, because the femurs and that pretty much every bone was broken in my leg and my feet.
Oh, shit.
All ribs busted, wrist broken, skull fractured. So basically the first thing to do was to walk, and that took about almost 2 months. And I didn't think I was going to be able to walk. I think they were telling me I was going to lose my eye and my leg.
Yep.
And ended up keeping it somehow.
How much of you, when they said that, was fuck you, no I'm not?
Oh, most of it.
Okay.
I didn't care about a darn thing in the world.
You didn't care if you walked. You were caring about, I'm not losing a leg or an eye. We'll get to walking.
Man,
piss and vinegar.
Yeah, I wanted in my mind to show everybody that I could walk again.
Yeah. Almost a
that was
competitive drive.
Yeah, that was difficult because I wanted people to know that I didn't give up like that. I wasn't gonna. I was not going to. But anyway, so I had to relearn how to walk. And I used a bedpan, so that was uncomfortable. But I relearned how to walk and was slowly working up to that for a while, and that took quite a while. But that was probably one of the most difficult things that I experienced there, was learning how to walk. So I just basically had to rebuild my whole body. I lost like 25 pounds of my body weight from that whole incident. And
you didn't even really have that to lose.
I know. I really didn't.
I think there's much there starting.
I went in at 150, maybe 160. I remember. Anyways, so I've had to rebuild all of my muscle memory. I've had to rebuild everything, and I think that's been a big challenge. And not only that, obviously the mental aspect has been a challenge, but I learning how to walk and then taking it easy at work, you know what I mean? And I work out in the field, so I'm not.
Well, speaking of that, we're sitting here, we're Labor Day, and you're in a labor-intensive field. Like, how much of that did you have to relearn going back to work?
Let me break that down for a second. Let's think about learning to walk. Starting tomorrow.
Yeah.
And then being out in the field today.
Yeah, absolutely.
Today.
Operating like you did back in the day.
Yeah, well, I'm going to be honest with you. I say that quite a bit, but in the hospital, I would dream about being back to work and being out in the field.
Just being normal.
Get your mind off it, being normal.
That's the new normal, man.
Yeah, and it is, you all can relate. It's very labor intensive, you know. I mean, not only to mention that, but you've got to work outside in the weather, and that in itself is
absolutely, dude,
is wild, So I mean, I had to relearn every single aspect. I mean, it's a trade that they'll never take away from you, the bricklayers. So it's not hard to relearn, but I think the physical part.
Sure. Well, dude, it's master trade, man.
You've got, so in that respect, you've got a brotherhood who backs you, and I will say, in my personal relation to you, no question, I will say everyone will drop some motherfucker if they get in your face.
Yep.
I mean, there's no one.
I'd like to think so.
There is no one that backs you more than the guys behind you. You know what I mean?
Think so.
That sounds a little weird.
If it comes to violence, but yes.
that went a really weird.
At the same time, I think there's a lot of jobs out there that would have dropped you.
Are there a lot of guys behind Ken-Zee?
Well,
no.
I will say the union, it is a brotherhood, and that is one thing that has motivated me the most.
Yeah, man.
And I never would have thought that my job would have that impact on me or my career.
Yeah.
And it does.
But I'm just speaking anecdotally.
Yeah.
If I was a member of that group, member of that team, and I saw a member of my team get taken down to zero, and watch them build themselves back to one, and not only building back, but building back and being better.
Yes.
Being a better version of yourself than you were before. And you could have been a great person before, but it doesn't matter, man. You have I always think of this life experience, especially something big. You can find, there's people that find wisdom in it, and there's people that don't. Yes. And the folks that do, they tend to come back as almost like a superhero version of what they were before. You emphasize your best traits. You emphasize your best traits because that's what the best thing is. But you also bring an attitude of positivity, which again, I'm a cynical, down, like I'm a 47-year-old parent of a teenager, and sometimes it can devolve into negativity.
Oh yeah.
And I want to speak for myself. I listening to you talk. It's not just to talk about what happened, but seeing your attitude. Just an attitude.
I don't think a lot of people would have that.
An attitude of goodness.
A lot of people would be angry,
easy,
bitter,
yeah,
and just just mad.
Yeah.
And I don't feel that from you. I feel that you've taken a awful experience and turned it into something positive, which is rare these days.
Yeah. Well,
and I commend you for that. That's where I'm getting at.
Yeah.
I commend you for that.
Thank you for that.
I mean, I want to clear the air here.
Yeah.
This is our first guest in this studio.
Yeah.
This is our first recorded guest in this studio. I am choosing the guests that I am bringing onto this podcast. These are inspirations to me.
Yeah.
You walk around in a field respected every day. You do a damn good job every day. You turn zeros into ones when your batteries get dead. I mean, Joe, you're someone who you inspire people in such weird ways. You're one of the funniest, weirdest guys I've ever met.
From him, that's a massive compliment, dude.
All right.
Yeah.
Let me throw one at you.
Just a month ago, I would not have known how fucking crazy that description is, but I totally agree with it.
Let's play this. I have immense respect for this man over here. Okay, I do, and I want to say I've watched him do things you wouldn't believe possible based off of what obviously he's been through. But I want to tell you somewhere, just to see perspective shift. He broke a human brain. Not his own. We're sitting at a bar at lunch. He orders the bacon cheeseburger, and the bartender's like, "All right."
I'm guessing
and he goes,
where he's going with this.
Can I sub that out for a vegan or for a vegetarian patty? And she's like, "Yeah, it has bacon." And he goes, "Yep,
I'll take it."
I don't mind the bacon.
You can see her brain was like,
the red meat's questionable.
She was very confused.
Brain
buster.
Sure. And I mean, I looked at him, I'm laughing my ass off. He's like, "What's so funny?" I said, "You just ordered a vegetarian patty with bacon on it. And you told her, we're good."
Yeah.
Dude, bacon makes things taste better.
He giggled.
You sometimes got to treat yourself. I was vegetarian for 3 years, and I've been working my way slowly back to putting meat into my diet, you know what I mean? So it's been delicious, and it's been fun.
I love to hear that.
Yeah, but
bacon does make it.
Well, you don't even get to say you only live once. Like, you clearly get to live twice. So you should put some meat back in there.
Yeah, more times. Yeah, twice. I don't know. There's been plenty of other times for sure.
But maybe God keeps the good ones around.
Do I have to cook this guy a steak? I'm gonna cook him a steak.
I think we should cook him a fat fucking steak.
That'd be delicious.
Tomahawk.
I
enjoy steak.
I'm a thick
ribeye
always
guy.
I can cook a hell of a steak, man.
I mean, it makes you feel good.
But I do want to say something, especially since we're sitting here on Labor Day.
Yeah.
I am no longer a card-carrying member. I'm now an inspector. But I'm the asshole.
Snitch, man.
Narc asshole. But with that being said, every time there's a brother in need, I oversee union members. Every time there's a brother in need, the first thing that comes out is the hat.
Yeah.
Instantly.
Yeah.
Passed around.
As it should, man.
How can we help out? How can we help out? That is one thing that I commend the union for, is that it is a brotherhood. It is a sisterhood, a brother and sisterhood.
Yes.
It is a family. And once somebody's in need, there is there's no doubt that the hat comes out instantly. Pass it around, fill it up, do what you can.
You have people to rely on, yes.
And it's great to see that they gave you the time to come back, and most places wouldn't have a job to come back to.
You're right.
I really feel that a lot of places are
yeah.
like, we've already replaced you. I'm sorry, we've moved on.
Yeah, thanks.
I mean,
thanks for coming back, and that's cute.
All right, so this is a perfect segue, and I don't know if you know these answers, but we're gonna play a little bit of a fun question. You can just kind of giggle
just
and
give me
answer
all the
after.
questions.
This is where it fucking
It's
diverts
coming
off
to you
course
last,
here.
okay?
Okay. Yeah.
Estimated in costs that Joe knows against his insurance company.
Oh shit!
How much since 2022 has he cost an insurance company?
Oh, let me ask something. How many surgeries have you had?
Whoa,
That you know.
whoa! That's another
I don't get to
question.
answer that?
You don't get to question that.
Jesus, this is a fucking. This rules are really
These are some
strict.
fun trivias that
This is strict.
we want to see
I've
what
got
happens.
so many answers.
So,
Brian,
how much do insurance companies hate Joe?
a lot.
How many months you said?
I'm
Do you
gonna
still
say-
have insurance?
Still
I'm going to
using it.
say you're
I do.
1.2.
Thanks to the brothers.
I would say it's over that.
I'm going to say 1.2 million reasons to hate him.
over that.
Brian?
Over 1.2? What,
yeah.
Give me a number.
4.5 to 5 million.
This is
You're
Price is
born.
Right.
I was going to say 1.5.
1.5.
You're tepid.
Okay.
1.5.
You both are very warm.
Okay. So
Yeah.
okay.
Okay.
But honestly, it's probably at least 1 point. It's almost probably 2.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
All right. So there's a lot of reasons to hate you for insurance, but we are
yeah.
glad you're here, and
They know
I'll
me,
pay
yeah.
my increasing rates for you.
They know me. I'm glad I got them.
I bet you are on a
You
punch
know.
card basis.
I just started
Thanks to
saving some money
brothers.
on my health insurance at work. so
5
I
surgeries
have
or
it.
6
Cell
ones
phone
free.
numbers to call for
I'm
reps.
subsidizing.
Got on
That's
speed
good.
dial.
I'm good with that.
You know all the cheat codes like I did in NFL Blitz
Oh,
to
yeah.
get right to an agent.
Fucking cheater.
Absolutely.
All right, so
No, I do.
let's go next one. Perspective, paradigm shift. That was my topic for this with you, paradigm shift, because it you fucking flipped a switch, man.
Yeah.
Surgeries
Very quickly.
in number.
Not by choice.
I'm gonna say.
Not by choice.
All right,
Holy
let's go.
smokes.
So
Let's
we
go
said
number
feet,
of surgeries.
legs,
Let's go number
skull,
of surgeries overall.
Wrist.
I'm gonna say 69. 69.
That's a,
Oh yeah. That's
that's
a great number, but you're cold.
Jesus.
I'm gonna
Cold.
no, that's a lot.
You
20.
can't give him clues, cheater.
All right.
22.
I'm gonna go with 18.
All right. You guys are very close. Honestly, it's hard to keep track, but I think I'm on my 25th
Oh, wow.
surgery.
Okay.
And you and
Ugh.
dipshit had to throw in 69 there, of course.
Of
Right,
course.
That's a good number.
I believe this. I believe I heard this. Has your ankle been broken multiple times, purposefully?
Yeah.
So they've had to break it, reset it,
Yeah, that's,
Yeah,
figure.
just once though.
that's
Okay.
good.
They had to do it once, yeah, and I've also had very bad dreams about having my ankles broken several times. The
I
dreams
bet.
were insane, man.
Okay. You want to describe on those?
Yeah.
I've
Kind of
got-
misery style,
Yeah,
the
okay.
board and the.
you cannot
Great
fuck
film,
with
by the
me.
way.
You cannot
Great
fuck
film.
with me about making old references when you just dropped a fucking old reference, man.
That's a
All
great
right.
film.
Next.
However, that is a
That's Stephen King.
bad.
He's still alive.
Next trivia question.
I'm not throwing out Johnny Carson.
Whatever, dude.
Next trivia
Bullshit.
question for
Classic
Joe to
fucking
cheat
bullshit.
and help you guys out with. Total number of broken bones
Oh gosh.
overnight.
Feet, legs.
I don't even know.
I'm gonna go with 17.
I'm gonna go with 18 just because I want to play the Price is Right.
The Price is Right.
bullshit.
50
I didn't go
because
over.
I believe tibia, fibia, femurs on each is 6, and I can go up from there.
Toe, especially toes.
I mean,
I love-
are we
I
going
love his-
individual
I love your
fractures
scientific
or
approach.
like
man,
per
I don't
bone?
even know the number, so you guys can knock yourselves out and guess.
Oh, nice.
Oh,
nice,
even
nice.
better.
Okay, fair enough.
I could think about it, but
So this is just him.
If you had to
Yeah.
throw out a ballpark,
So,
ballpark.
50,
Man, I'm
60?
gonna be honest with you guys. Like, chest down a little. Everything was pretty much broken. I mean, head-on collision.
so 17 or 18 seeming good?
Sure.
Yeah, maybe more than that. I
Flat
don't know,
earther.
man.
so
don't know.
with that being what you just said, I don't think we actually discussed exactly.
Oh,
Could you tell us
snap.
what happened? You were in an accident. We know
Yeah.
that.
Yep. Yeah. No. Absolutely. Yeah. I was. Driving back on my anniversary, and from what I remember, there was a raised Dodge pickup that hit my Ford Focus, going about 60 miles an hour, and
So it crossed the center line and came at you head on.
so he hit another person in front of me, swerved in to hit a person in front of me, and then he swerved back into my lane.
Gotcha.
And that's where we
Bam.
collided. I mean,
Oh,
it was like a pancake. If you see the pictures, the car just looked, it was smashed, man. I mean, not an inch of room to move. Yeah, my airbag went off, but Mary's airbag did not go off. So.
Gotcha.
So yeah, he hit me.
It's awful.
He was over the limit 3 times.
Oh, lovely.
Older male, just out in the middle of nowhere. I'm sure it's just another day for the guy. Honestly, you know, this stuff happens all the dang time. I don't think a lot of us realize that.
Yeah.
I mean,
Definitely.
drunk driving, related deaths and accidents, all over the place.
So so you said 3 times, so at least 0.25.
Yeah. Yes.
Holy smokes.
0.24 you.
I don't think he remembers what even happened.
He doesn't. Yeah, he does not. I don't think he remembers much.
That's a high ABV too. That's
yeah,
real high BAC.
but
25% of your blood is concentrated alcohol.
So moving past those metrics,
Sure.
Yeah.
where are you mentally? Where does the mentality with you stand, if I may ask, with the guy who hit you?
You know, it was. Well, I think that he definitely should be held accountable for what he did.
Agreed.
Absolutely.
Yep.
But I'm going to be honest, I don't think that creating hate in your mind is the best way to handle that or to process that.
Yep.
If you put yourself in that man's shoes and you think about maybe how he was raised or
Sure.
what happened that night, just some of the along the lines of that, it could have been one of us.
Yep.
It could have been one of us.
Yeah.
But I mean, his problem was that he decided to get behind the wheel in the dark of night, pitch black, out in the middle of nowhere, dangerous road. I heard after the incident, I didn't know it was a dangerous road. I was just out on my, anniversary, going to some place beautiful that I found on the map.
Sure. Yeah, man.
But yeah, no, I don't hate that man.
Which says a lot, because I think I don't know if I would have that for. I mean, I haven't been in your situation, and I know that impacts a lot. But to be able to say that I do not hate that person, I commend you, and I think that's part of the healing. I don't know if I could do the same, but
Hard to find a new normal if you can't get over.
Well,
because you don't want that to be part of the normal. That's not good to be part of the normal.
Yeah, no, I don't think I don't have hate in my mind, in my heart. Other people could disagree with me strongly.
Sure.
Like, for instance, maybe their family or, but yeah, I just don't think that's the way to think or to process things or to hold that. That's a lot. That's a weight to have that hate.
It is.
Wise words, my friend. Wise words.
So
very wise.
Onward and upward. Give us your okay. Let me play ball here.
Yeah.
Everyone knows the Anthony Bourdain quote of "grab a beer at a bar on your own." You know.
Yeah.
Give me your quote. Give me your quote now that you know what matters.
Yeah.
Give me your quote now that you know what you feel matters.
See, I've never been one to be put on the spot for a quote to leave people with.
So you're gonna give us a speech. It's a short one though.
I don't know
Just
if
a
I
quote
could.
speech.
Hey, so I like one. So I think maybe you might.
Sure.
Maybe this is it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do an old reference. It's not Johnny Carson. Okay.
Thank
Not
God.
fucking Johnny Carson. There's a recording artist, singer that I like. His name's Warren Zevon.
Okay.
Warren Zevon, Werewolves of London. Everybody knows that song?
Absolutely not.
Oh, Jesus Christ! How old are you? 15. The point is, he was a recording artist, songwriter.
Yeah.
Spent a lot of his partying years avoiding the doctor. Okay, didn't really want to go see the doctor when he was in his. I'm gonna shooting from the hip here. I believe he was in his early 50s, and he went to get a physical. Okay, and he had cancer. It ended up killing him. Okay, but his last appearance, he was on David Letterman. David Letterman loved Warren Zevon.
We're getting closer to my generation.
And of course, David Letterman, and in his great way of lightening a topic, right, of bringing some light to a dark topic. He's like, Warren, after all it's gone, what's a piece of advice that you think you could give to everybody, now that you know that, mortality is about to take you? And I fucking love it. Enjoy every sandwich.
Yeah. That's simple.
It's simple.
Okay.
And then you can abstract it across almost all mediums, man.
Yeah.
So there's things are simple in life that are
universal.
beautiful.
I mean, it sounds simple, but it's
I almost
heavy.
wonder if
Yeah.
the Anthony Bourdain quote is perfect for you in a way. Just
it
grabbing
fits.
a beer
No.
grab a beer at a bar.
It's
go
right.
do thing. Go live life.
No, it rings true to me, and it's universal for everybody, I'm sure.
I just want you to Mad Libs it, so to speak. You know what I mean? Like, that's what I want from you.
is the
I just
kind
want
of
to know
vibe.
what you would tell the people.
I
Could've
never
told you
thought
this
that
would
I'd
happen.
have this conversation ever, and I just would like to say that I don't think some people, are dealing with anxiety, and some people deal with a lot of stress, and sometimes it's so overwhelming. And I think it's hard to unwind from those things, but it's not worth that strain.
Yeah.
It's such a strain on us and everything in our family and our daily lives. And if we just sit and we listen, or if we sit and we think for a second, or you not even think, just take a step back from something and analyze it and take your time with it. That's important. Taking your time is so important. It doesn't have to be rushed. Like,
We like rushing things, right?
yeah.
As humans, we definitely
Yeah.
rush things, and I'm a firm believer. Stress will kill you faster than
Absolutely
anything
will.
else.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely will.
Yeah.
So taking your time.
Yeah. Processing at a comfortable speed, creating peace for yourself, learning how to create peace for yourself, learning patience.
Yeah.
It's and to communicate with others. Like, yeah, I think that's something that I've been learning, and something that I think is important, and to touch on what Randy was talking about earlier, I wanted to leave something with my brothers, and that's, I wanted to leave them with something positive in their mind, seeing me and my experience. I don't want to roll over and go through the hardships, or roll over and fall into something that I can't get out of. You know what I mean? I wanted to show them that I was a strong individual, and I wanted to teach them that, I wanted to teach them, willpower, and I don't know, I probably could word that a little better, but I just wanted to leave something positive with them that they couldn't ever forget, or something that they can maybe learn from. I didn't want them to see me as somebody who fell into addiction and lost everything.
Yeah.
I wanted to show those guys that were very close to me that it was something that anybody could overcome. It hasn't been easy. You know what I mean? It's difficult.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just want to leave people with that mindset, to be patient and not take life for granted, and to accept others, and yeah, kind of along the lines that you were
Well said,
talking
man.
about, Randy.
Well said.
All right,
Absolutely.
I got one more for you before we kind of wrap up with some takeaways, if everyone's good with that.
Sure.
Yeah, sounds
Yeah.
good.
Sure.
Joe, how do you go through life every day? And how do you draw your boundaries of when what you were just talking about, what matters, take a second, think about what you're doing.
Yeah.
How do you draw your boundaries on that now? How do you find your patience? How do you draw that balance?
Well, I would say that creating boundaries and balance in general is not easy. But I think I thrive off of a routine, personally. But I think that, I don't know, all of us can benefit. The motivation is knowledge and wisdom. I think that just that is a driving factor for me. Of course, my brother's driving factor. The memory of my deceased partner had a huge impact on my life and this earth, I will say. She was an astounding woman, and she has inspired me to also be who I am today, or to sometimes get up out of bed.
Yeah.
Even.
Absolutely.
That's awesome.
So thanks to her and other factors in my life, I really draw that inspiration. I think we could all benefit from being comfortable with one another and having patience with one another and just listening to each other. I mean, that motivates me too. Learning.
Yeah.
So with that being said, I know normally we do a final thought. I don't really think there's a need for a final thought here.
Yeah.
But I do know that from what you've been through and everything, I know this isn't why you're here, but I know you're still struggling, going through surgeries and everything. There is a GoFundMe out there, correct?
Yeah.
Could you let people know? That way we can get that out there. I know that's not why you're here, but I really want people to know that you're still going through surgeries. You just had,
I am.
And you didn't ask us to do this, but I'm asking you to please let people know if they can donate, where they can donate.
Sure. I will say that I had a GoFundMe originally arranged by a close friend in the beginning of this whole situation, and it's now closed and has been for quite some time, and I really appreciate you giving me the opportunity to kind of speak about that. So that's not an option anymore, but if anybody is listening to this, just send me your thoughts and your good vibrations, and I'll also do the same. You know what I mean? And
so with that being said, how can they reach out to you? What's the best way to get a hold of you to do that? Just to say, hey man, your story's inspired.
Sure. Yeah. No. You can
Facebook or email.
Well, see, I don't have any social media because it's really created.
I'm guessing it doesn't matter to you.
It does not matter to me.
All right. With that being said, send something to us, and we will make sure it gets on.
That's
to
what
him.
I was going to say.
SWHPcast@gmail.com. Something's wrong here @gmail.com.
And this is our guest, Joe.
Joe.
And Joe, if you could leave everyone with the final thought, last of it, before we clap this thing out with some music.
I would say, just create that space for yourself to experience learning how to be patient and make the memories where you can, and don't try not to take life for granted, but also don't take it too seriously. It's all a journey. We're all experiencing the same thing. And we should be here for each other and to take care of each other. Dude. You know what I mean?
Dude, wise words, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thanks for
I
coming
know
on.
I'm going to take a lot away from this. This is
I had a lot of fun. This was really good.
Yeah. Well,
this is what we're about, and this is
your story.
Not the end of people coming on and giving their experience, but
let us know if you want Joe to come back on at some point. We might have to make him.
I've been waiting for an opportunity like this, and I love just having conversation with people, or just kind of having a perspective and different takes on things.
Well, that's what we're about. We're about perspectives, and this has definitely changed my perspective. I hope everybody listening took the time to actually absorb everything Joe had to say and took it to heart, because to be given the opportunity to hear somebody what he's been through and his perspective, and that hate isn't the number one aspect that he wakes up to every day, has inspired me just through this conversation, and I think I'm going to carry that on. And thank you, Joe. I appreciate it.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
Ken-Zee,
of course,
thank
guys.
you.
Thanks, Randy.
Yeah.
Thanks, Brian. Thanks,
Brian.
Yeah. Thanks, man.
Appreciate that.
Really, the story is compelling.
That was fun.
And,
thanks for having me.
And I enjoyed just your attitude, man.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah. Appreciate that.
Yep.
So follow us, like us, and
Please.
Joe, thank you. Thank you.
Of course,
I truly
anytime,
mean
guys,
that.
anytime.